Hey, you made it. Come on in and join me. I'm Angela, and this is me making sense of myself. I'm super glad you're here. If you haven't done so yet, hit the subscribe button so you can follow the adventure as it unfolds. And if you love this podcast, share it with your friends. You have the capacity to understand yourself, and that's through connecting with and understanding other people. It's Friday, and that means it's time for the Frittity or the Friday Ditty. I'm going to share with you a poem and a parable today about this week's topic, shifting from shame to belonging, along with explaining what happened. So let's get to it. Hey there, my fellow journeyers. This week I've uncovered treasures in my quest to shift from shame to finding my belonging flame. I've shared my tales and thoughtful musings on how to shed the shame I'm losing and find a place where I can thrive, where my sense of self can truly jive. I talk about a time when I just knew that I belonged and the feeling grew. It was in a new church, a loving space where I felt welcomed with open embrace. But don't we all sometimes feel unsure? Do I belong? We ask, pure and unsure. It's normal, I say, we're all the same, with ups and downs in this belonging game. I've discovered a skill that's prime. It's in my willingness and acceptance, my rhyme. To see the connection, the love in each soul, that's how I find my belonging whole. And here's the parable. In the vibrant forest, there were two trees standing side by side. One tree thought it was not as strong and beautiful as the other. It felt ashamed of its twisted branches and small leaves. But one day, a wise old owl perched on its branches and whispered, "You may be different, but you belong here just as much as the other tree. Your unique shape shelters creatures in a way the other can't." The tree began to understand that it didn't need to be like the other tree to belong. It embraced its differences and found joy in its own existence. As time passed, animals sought out the tree for its unique shelter, and the tree realized that by owning its individuality, it had found its true belonging. Brené Brown explains shame something like this: shame is I am a mistake, not I made a mistake. I like to think of shame as I am wrong as a human being. There's something deep and perverse about this feeling that has pushed me to the edge many times. When my disability came on, the messages I got from the world around me were that I was wrong and that I had no value. I felt shame for many years, and it took a lot for me to shift. After I had the incident with the caregiver company that refused to help me participate in life, I felt 100% shame. Then I started my podcast, Relatively Damaged, where I interviewed hundreds of people about how they made it through their struggles. Doing that literally changed my life as I made new friends and gained new tools and insights about getting through struggles. And recently, after being exposed to so many stories, I embraced my humanity and started this show, Making Sense of Myself, on YouTube. All of these things took so much courage after feeling like I was not part of humanity, that I was supposed to be locked away out of the public eye because I was different and not valuable. But now I know that to be different, and I'm now grateful for that moment of absolute shame as it helped me to realize that what I had previously believed was not true. I actually did have value, and you do too. Regardless, shame is complex and powerful, and while I don't like the feeling, it has a very real social purpose, which can be good and bad. As social beings, we, the group, create norms of what we think is acceptable. When those norms are violated or we think we violated those norms, the resulting feeling is shame. Shame can discourage behaviors. The fear of shame can help promote getting along. It can facilitate cooperation, preserve cultural values, help with moral development, and I think most importantly, support the ideas of collective well-being and preserve or protect the identity of the group. So we have all those helpful ways, but shame can also hurt our groups. Shame can lead people to withdraw from groups, There can be breakdowns in communication, trust can be eroded. The entire group can suffer from mental health issues due to a shaming dynamic. Shame can also be weaponized to reinforce social hierarchies and create a sense of fear of failure where people won't propose new ideas and challenge social norms. And conflict will tend to escalate and the culture will become stagnant and so much more. So shame hurts the group and the individual in so many ways. So what do we do? How do we find belonging? To find belonging, it takes patience, self-compassion, and finding a real connection with others. I suggest finding the feeling of belonging by utilizing yesterday's meditation on shifting from shame to belonging so that you can actually figure out what belonging feels like for you. And here are some other ideas of things you may or may not want to do. Figure out why you're feeling the shame. Be kind to yourself. Connect with people you trust and love. Seek professional help. Focus on what you learned. Embrace imperfection. Do things you love. And meditate. Sometimes, at least for me, there will be times where you feel shame and you may also have new information or a new perspective that's very important to the growth of the group. And you are the one called to stand up for it. That's a tough road, and it requires a tremendous amount of strength and courage. If this is your calling, I urge you to surround yourself with people who love you. Groups are generally slow to change. I want most importantly to leave you with the sense of you belong here on this earth as part of humanity. Shame is part of being human, and it totally sucks, and you still belong. If you're like me, sometimes you'll feel like you only fit in with the biggest group of all, humanity. And when that happens, be gentle and reach out for support. These are some of the things I did, and you might find other things that work for you. If so, let us know. This episode is not just words for the air, it's a guide to help you become aware of the power of belonging, a skill to hone to find peace and love in every zone. For yourself and others in a world so wide, let's make sense of ourselves side by side. Like, share, comment below to let me know what topics you'd like me to explore next. Remember to subscribe to Me Making Sense of Myself for weekly doses of inspiration and self-discovery. If you have a question, send it over. I'll answer it. Let's do this together. I'm Angela, and this is me making sense of myself.